Hello guys. So today what we're going to do is we're going to find three sources for your research paper. We're going to find those from three different places. So one of them will come from regular Google that you're used to using already. One of them will come from Academic Search Complete, which is a site that we have here on campus at Kilgore College. And one of them will come from Google Scholar, which is kind of a best of both worlds situation. So the purpose of doing this kind of research is to try to make sure that your paper has a lot of good support behind it. The better your support is, the more you know about your topic, the easier time you're going to have writing about it. This will be kind of complicated for some of you that are new to this. So um, uh, bear with me here. If you get lost, just back up the video, and watch over the part again that you're confused by. If you are really lost, message me and I will try to help you out as best I can. It's a very complicated subject, but I'm going to try to make it as simple as I can. Okay, so first of all, the first thing you'll need to do is taking the same topic that you picked last time. You're going to find one source from Google that supports your topic. Once you've found it, write an annotation uh, for it, including the following parts: a brief summary of the article in your own words, a discussion of how credible and relevant the article is. So, for my purposes, I'm going to use nursing burnout as my example. So, what I don't want to do is just type in a something that's a little too broad. So, I don't want to do like healthcare, for example. I already already recorded this once. That's why um, everything's already auto-filling. But if I just put in healthcare, you'll see that's way too broad of a topic, and it's not going to be narrow enough to talk about nursing problems. This one's about the marketplace where you can get healthcare from the government. These are news articles about healthcare problems that are happening. None of this so far has anything to do with nursing. So instead, burnout of nursing. And a lot of good articles come up right away when I type that in. These are all pretty long, which is why I decided not to use them. I'm going to read through the different titles here to try to find one that looks like it would be useful. Like I'll show you this one here. This one is probably more credible than the one that I will use, but it is really, really long, and you're not going to have to read the entire thing, but you will have to know what these articles are about, and you will have to have read a lot of them. So I don't want to read all of this. So instead, I'm going to continue looking until I find this. Which one is it? Oh man, the results changed. I'm just going to look up the one. Oh, go away. Yeah, this is the one that I ended up finding. So, cheating a little bit here. This is the one that I ended up finding. This is Combating Nursing Burnout 7 Strategies and Tips. So, this is a relatively good article, and it would be good for a paper like this because I'm going to need something that's pretty broad in order to discuss all the different angles of this problem. So, skimming through this article, I can see that at the beginning here, it's talking about what nursing burnout is, what the signs and symptoms of it are, what the causes of it are, and the impact that it's having on healthcare. So, why it's a problem, right? And then after that, it has all of these 7 different techniques for dealing with it. So there's a lot here that I can use in my paper. I can quote about why it's happening. I can quote about how it's impacting healthcare. I can also use these different tips if I want to have a paragraph about how to deal with nursing burnout. So this would be a great article to use for my paper. So what I've done here is I've started in a Google Doc a annotated bibliography. That means I'm going to write an annotation, including the two parts covered here, the brief summary and a discussion of credibility and relevance. And then I'm going to also have a works cited citation. So I already did this once when I was recording this before, so I'm just going to show you what I have instead of writing it all over again. So the summary, I just gave you a summary of this article. I didn't even have to read it. I just looked at what the title said. I looked over some of what it was talking about. And so I can tell you that this article discusses nursing burnout, its causes and symptoms. It then goes on to give 7 helpful tips for dealing with nursing burnout, including work-life balance, self-care, and professional development. Okay. Then I need to talk about how credible and relevant it is. And so a credible source would look a lot more like the one that I showed you before. It would be probably very dry looking. Any pictures that it had would be graphs or charts. It would have a whole lot of citations at the bottom. It would be in an academic journal. This isn't quite that. This is made for public consumption. It's made for normal people to read that aren't really into this topic. But it is written by a college, and it's well organized, and it has links to other articles, which is shows that it has some uh, uh, integrity for sure. It's also not trying to sell us anything. So for my next part, I would say this article is published in by a college and has several links to other places. It is, however, designed for public consumption, meaning it's designed for regular people to read. And it lacks depth because it doesn't go into a huge amount of detail about any of these things that it talks about. So that's all I need to do for my first part of this assignment. And then for the second part here, I need to come up with a works cited citation. So that's what this part here is. It needs to look like how it will look in your works cited page. And so to create a works cited citation, I'm just going to delete this one. What I'm going to do is go up here to where it says tools. You won't have access to this if you're using your phone, so you'll need to do this on a desktop. But go to where it says tools, citations, and when you click this button, a box will pop up over here. We're going to select MLA 8th edition. Delete this one. And add citation source. So for source type, this is an article from a website. So we're going to select websites and website. And when we do that, it will have this search box pop up. If I take my URL right here and I copy paste this into this search box and press search, most of the time it will be able to fill in all of the blanks for me and I won't actually have to do anything. So if I look right now, I can see most of these blanks are filled in correctly. It does not, this is not the author of this article though. It does not have a listed author. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to cite this manually. I'm going to do this just to show you guys how this works. For author, if there was an author here, we would write the author in this box here. If there was multiple authors, we would click add contributor and we would just go in order from how they are listed on the article itself. This one does not have an author. You can look all over this page. There's no author here. So instead, we are just going to leave that blank. Don't click corporate author. You don't worry about any of the rest of this stuff. Just leave it blank. Next, we need our title. This is our title. And so we're just going to copy that with Control C, paste with Control V. Website title is not the same as this title. This is the title of the article. Title of the website is Smith Chasen College. So I'm going to type that in myself. Because I'm pretty sure this is just a sticker. So from there, we already did the URL. We don't need a publisher because the publisher is going to be also Smith Chasen College. So we're not going to do anything that's the same. If it was a different publisher than the website title, we would put a different publisher. So we copy the URL. We're going to put that here. Publication date, month, and year. 26 March of 2024. And then finally, for the day accessed, we're going to do today's date. And then we don't need to worry about the short title. We're going to click Add Citation Source. You'll see your citation come up here right underneath where we were before. So to add it into the page, we're going to click Insert Works Cited. Now we're done with our first two parts. I can delete this. Okay, so that's part one. For the next part, we're going to use Academic Search Complete. So if we go down to question 3, use the library tools database and the techniques discussed in class. Find one source you can use for your research. Once you've found a credible source you want to use, create an annotation using the following formats: full works cited citation, a brief summary in your own words, and a discussion of credibility. So it's the same things we did before. I need to move this up here. All right. So to go to the to find the database we're going to use on the library website, what we're going to do is we're just going to type in Kilgore College Library. Close all these. And then there's a bunch of different buttons we're going to push. The first one is Visit KC Library website. Next, Search Databases. Next, A to Z Databases. And then we want the second one here, Academic Search Complete. There's a lot of different sources on here from a lot of different places. Some of these different databases are a lot broader and some of them are a lot more narrow. We're going with the broadest one, Academic Search Complete. This is the best one to use. If you're using the other ones, they're going to be very limited in what you find. So click Academic Search Complete. And give it a second. Okay. So Academic Search Complete is it's very old school as far as search engines go. This is mostly going to narrow your searches down to things that have been peer reviewed, things that have had other smart people look at them. They've been written by smart people and they've had smart people look at them to make sure they're right, which is what's different from this compared to Google. Is Google is going to show you anything and everything. That's how you get 100 million sources. on one search. This one is going to narrow it down quite a lot. First thing we're going to do before we start using this website is we're going to click full text. If you don't click full text, you might get sources that don't actually exist, or sources that only have titles and you have to go find them yourself. Clicking full text means that there will always be a link or something to the actual article. And we're going to put in our terms. You want to keep your search terms as simple as possible here, because otherwise it might be really hard to for it to find stuff. This is a very old school search engine that it's not as smart as Google is. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to skim through these titles and try to find one that seems like it will work for my paper. I'll pause it while I do that. Okay, so some of these are not going to be super useful because they will be very narrow to you. So like, where was the one that I was going to show you? This one is about Costa Rican nursing students. So, yeah, that one probably wouldn't be super useful to you. You probably want something that's a little more broad than that. Other ones, like this one here, this is written in a different language. I'm not sure which one. So that's probably not one you want to use. So the one that I'm going to use is this one here. Burnout and quality of life in nursing staff during the COVID-19 pandemic. So that seems like it would be pretty useful. COVID is a topical recent thing, so it's something that we can talk about. I'm going to click on this and I should be able to see the landing page. This is not the article. The article's down here in this case. But up here is where you're going to see all the information about the article that you'll need. So it tells you the title, it tells you the authors, it tells you where it was published. BMC Nursing. Yeah, all the different authors. You can see subject terms: psychological burnout, intensive care unit research sectional method. I don't know what that means. Quality of life, hospital nursing staff, questionnaires. So that's probably how they did their study. Yeah, so all this stuff looks like things that wouldn't make it difficult for me to use. Brazil might not be relevant to us because we're in the United States. But let's go down here. This is called the abstract. This is a summary that is going to tell you what this article is about. This isn't like the jacket on the back of the book that tells you a little about the book so that you'll read it. They're going to tell you exactly what's in this paper so that you don't have to read it if you don't need to. They want you to only read this paper if it's going to be useful to you. Okay, so this was a cross-sectional study conducted with 109 nursing staff members in an intensive care unit in a public hospital in Brazil. Our findings showed that burnout due to occupational circumstances affected negatively the quality of life perceptions of nursing staff working at intensive care units during COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, so this is a study that is telling you that they asked basically a lot of nurses how they felt during the pandemic, and they said that they felt worse, and the burnout was a problem for them. Okay, and then the actual article in this case is down here. If you don't see the article at the bottom, then it is probably up here somewhere. You can download it or you can find it online. So let's make an annotation for this bad boy. I'm going to close this right now because we actually will not need it this time. First of all, I want to write a brief summary. Okay. This article is a study of nurses working in intensive care in Brazil. The authors surveyed 109 found that the pandemic and the burnout associated with it affected their quality of life in a negative way. Okay, so that's our summary right there. Easy peasy. As for credibility and relevance, what we're going to do is skim through this article. It is published in a nursing journal. It has 5 different authors. It's peer reviewed and it is very well organized, and it has a lot of sources down here at the end. So those are all things that we can put in here as reasons why it is good. Just a second. Okay. This article is credible and relevant because it was published in a nursing journal. It is well organized and has many sources in its works cited page. Okay. And then the last thing that we need from here is we need our works cited citation. And fortunately, this time you're not going to have to write it all out yourself. The Academic Search Complete has done this part for you. So if you go up here to the top where it says Cite, I'm going to click this button, and then it will pop up this box. I'm going to go to MLA 9th. Make sure it's MLA 9th, and then I'm going to copy this onto my clipboard. This is our works cited citation right here. And I'll go back over to the article, and I'm going to type this in here. I'm not too worried about spacing with this guy. I just need all the information to be there. So here is the first author. There were several authors, but they're only going to put the first one, last name in first. Et al. Means and all, so that's telling you there's a bunch of other authors. This is the title. This is the magazine it was in, the journal rather. This is the volume and issue number, the date published, the pages, and where you got it on EBSCO. Okay. So that's number 3 taken care of. Now we need number 4. Number 4, we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to use Google Scholar. And Google Scholar is sort of the best of both worlds. We're going to type in Google Scholar. So it has a lot of more academic articles, but it also has a broader range of them as well. So it has the qualities of Google, but it also has the qualities of Academic Search Complete. One upside of Google Scholar is that it is free, and you'll still be able to use it once you've graduated. A downside for it is that it is not very well organized, and you're going to have to pick through it a little bit. So I'm going to type nursing burnout in here. And you can see I got over 1 million results. That's pretty good. But here's the catch. Some of these aren't actually here. So a lot of times you'll have just titles, but not any actual article. So, like if we go to, let's try this one and see. This one, for example, it is just the abstract, and it might make us try to pay to read this article. Yeah, see, it's going to ask us to buy this for $68 to download it. And we don't want to do that. I don't have that kind of money. So this one is useless to us. I'm not even going to read the title. First thing you always want to do when you use Google Scholar, you'll check the title to see if it's one that looks interesting. This one really doesn't, but let's pretend it did. And then if it did, we would then do this PDF to see if we can open it. And this one does in fact open. So this one, if it was a good one, we would use it. Let's skim through here and see if we can find a good one. What about this guy? Okay, we can open this one. It's only 4 pages long. It's not so bad. So let's check this one out. All right. This is a landing page just like the one we saw on Academic Search Complete. Has all the information we need to be able to use this article. And so we already read the title. That looks okay. We're going to read through the abstract. Previous research has suggested organizational changes can contribute to stress-related outcomes for workers, burnout. One such stress-related outcome has been conceptualized as a multidimensional construct. Ooh. Okay, so what they're doing is this is a study where they're looking at how hospitals are organized or how medical care places are organized and how that sometimes leads to more burnout than others. Like, can you prevent burnout by having your organization be good? The results that they come up with here. Okay, so they found a place that had fewer working hours and increasing age for their staff, and that led to better outcomes. Okay, so we can make a summary out of that. So let's write one more of these. a lot of things that you're going to find in these studies are going to be obvious like that. So, uh, that's just kind of how these are. Okay. So I said all of those things that I just said here in this summary that I made. So as for credibility and relevance, we can open the article by clicking the View PDF button. And then skim through here and see, again, this is very well organized. It's, let's see, where is this published? Oh, Australian Journal of Advanced Nursing. Okay, so that sorry, that's going to be a academic journal. It's very well organized. It has a lot of references. You can see references like here. This is a APA reference. Has lots of tables, and then it's got a page of references at the bottom as well. All right, so the same things we said before. Um, okay. And then last thing we need from this is to find a citation, and usually you'll be able to find one pretty easily. In this case, if we go back to the landing page where no, wait, this is on EBSCOhost. Where was I using? Okay, here we are. So if we go back to the page where we originally found this in the search, there is a cite button down here. And if I click on this, it will give us all the different citation styles that we could need. I'm going to copy the one for MLA right into my paper. And the font looks a little funny, but that's okay. Okay, the last thing you have to do for this assignment, and this is very important, before you turn all of this stuff off, you want to make sure that you save copies of all of those articles that you found, because sometimes they will be published for a little while and get taken down. So make sure that you save on your computer or email to yourself copies of these articles, and I'll show you how to do that right now. This is the PDF that we found before. You could just print this probably. Let's see. But if we go back to the landing page that we had here, yeah, you probably just have to download the PDF. That'd be the best way to do it. On Academic Search Complete, there is this button here that's called, it says Share. If you don't want to download this onto the computer that you're using, or if it's a computer that you're using at the school or something, you can click this button, and it will give you options on where to send it to. I like to email them to myself. Uh, okay. And then for the regular ones, these don't come down very often, but probably print them out or something. Okay, guys. That was a lot of talking. So if you have any questions that this video did not answer, please feel free to send me a message and I'll do whatever I can to make it make more sense. If you can't find articles using one of these methods, try doing it using some of the other methods. All right, best of luck, guys. Again, don't feel like you can't ask me any questions about this. This is the most complicated thing we're going to learn in this class. Best of luck. Have fun.